Has any screenplay ever gathered more love and respect than Chinatown?
Well, no.
We all know the plot is a smooth, shiny pearl of a marvel. A lesson in setups and payoffs all falling into place.
Apple core?
Albacore.
It deals with ambitious themes from the personal to the societal with depth and density.
How much better can you eat? What can you buy that you can't already afford?
The future, Mr. Gitz.
The dialogue is memorable,
Politicians, ugly buildings, and whores all get respectable if they last long enough.
and every character, even bit players, is written with remarkable characterization. Like this pimply jerk here.
Sir, this is not a lending library, it's the Hall of Records.
I love how much I hate this guy. And as much as Robert Towne's golden script deserves even more praise, today I want to talk about something that doesn't get the love it deserves.
Either you tell me or I guess I don't know the answer.
Roman Polanski's direction. It is on par with Bob Towne's achievement, and I'll tell you why. It's a pitch-perfect feat in invisible direction, following the story without ever calling attention to itself. But what does he do exactly that's so impressive?
Huh? No? Wanna guess? Huh? No?
Roman, always sticking things where you shouldn't. Towne's screenplay follows the ancient rules of film noir. Stick the narrative to the protagonist and nothing but the protagonist. We only know what Jake Gittes knows. We only see what he sees. If he passes out, we pass out. Polanski keeps you grounded in Jake's point of view through different techniques. Like everyone else, he can simply cut from Jake to what he sees. That's the basic of basics.
Simple as that.
But we might also find Jake in the foreground and what he's seeing in the background. If we're looking at something, you can be sure it's because Jake is looking at it. The camera will often leave the observed to find the observer and make this clear. Or the opposite. We see Jake, then the camera abandons him to show us what he's looking at. It might not abandon him, but simply arc to include both observer and observed in the same angle. Because following our private dick over the shoulder is always effective.
This business requires a certain amount of finesse.
Photographed by John A. Alonzo and a bit by Stanley Cortez, Chinatown was shot in Panavision, in the wide 2:35:1 aspect ratio. And not 1 millimeter of screen is wasted. Polanski harvests it all. Close-ups, of course, are the exception, using up only a small portion of the frame. But in the majority of shots, people, props and decorations are spread wide to fill up the entire screen. Just look at this beauty! Even Jake's body language sometimes stretches to cover the rectangle. Check the council scene. Many shots are masterpieces of scope composition. Notice how the map's margin and the pillar give the frame a beginning and an ending. When Hollis Murray speaks, our eyes are drawn to him and the map. But the carefully positioned men around him tie the composition together into a tableau vivant.
Let's face it, Jake, you're practically a movie star.
Like classical directors, Polanski favors two shots and ensembles.
Are you, sleeping with her?
By having two actors in the frame at once, one can speak while the other reacts.
Chief engineer.
Here Gittes is talking, but it's Evelyn that calls our attention by reacting to a new off-screen arrival.
But what?
But more than anything else, we get pristinely positioned ensembles. Mostly in medium shots or medium close-ups, actors are dispersed to occupy the whole screen. Here are 4 people. They move a bit and now Polanski wants to shoot them from this side.
What pictures?
Escobar's partner wants to help the new composition, so he moves to a new spot that can be better captured by the new angle. He considers this position.
Who the hell do you think you're dealing with? A bunch of assholes?
Then changes to a more visible one. In this other scene, Jake occupies his spot, and ever the diligent helper of composition, he steps to the side, remaining visible. Keep in mind how the camera also rearranges itself to keep each player in the frame. But because we are distracted by the movement of the actors, we can easily miss that the camera also moved. Here, a single character is joined by 3 others. Everyone moves, including the camera. Jake is now on the right and Evelyn went from right to left. It's all the simple art of reframing. From a specific type of shot, we reframe to a new type of shot. And because we're simply following the characters, the direction is done as discreetly as possible.
Who is this bimbo, Barney? Is he a regular customer or what?
In the barber scene, we move from Jake lying down to a two-shot, to a clear ensemble, back to him lying down closer.
What do the Chinese do? He says the Chinese, they screw a little and
There's this outstanding take in the morgue that I'm sure Spielberg would kill to have shot. Follow Jake. He notices something off-screen. The camera seeks what he's observing. He partly re-enters the frame, and a cough invites the camera to tilt up and find out who's making the sound. It's the recently arrived coroner. As he walks from right to left, the camera circles to follow him and better position Jake on the right. They approach, and the camera checks the damage. It's everlasting motion. 21 seconds, at least 5 distinct angles. Your eyes are taken for a ride, and you don't even notice.
Thought I'd drop by and see who dropped dead lately.
Directing challenge. Here's an over-the-shoulder shot of Jake with Evelyn. Pretend you are the director and you want to switch from this angle to a simple lateral two-shot. What you do? Obviously, you can simply cut to the new angle. Maybe you can circle the camera around. How does Roman do it? He has Evelyn walk around the off-screen table, followed by a pen, and reach the new angle herself. There's editing, there's camera movement, there's actor movement. Turns out a director can do a lot.
They do in Chinatown.
I covered a similar take when talking about Sleuth. And since we're here, how about liking and subscribing? It will help you get more videos like this one. You can also join me on Patreon, it helps a lot. Moving on, let's take a look at this wonderful shot. Hollis's corpse. The curtains remove the subject and we pull back to a close-to shot. Then we follow Evelyn and the other two. We follow Escobar to the right, then to the left, reframing as a rich ensemble frame which is divided in two halves. Escobar and his partner surround Evelyn. Don't forget how her light-colored costume makes her stand out even more. This frisky cop changes positions and Jake, who has slowly built up into taking part, occupies his spot. Escobar mentions Jake, leaves the frame, and we close in, slightly, on the couple. Terrific filmmaking, but my favorite shot from the film is most likely Jake's confrontation with Noah Cross.
How much are you worth?
I have no idea. How much do you want?
Did you ever notice that this 3.5-minute scene is in a single take? Let's go through it by noticing how apparently simple it is, and how creatively it uses off-screen space.
Where is she?
With her mother.
The front door in the background seen from the garden. Nobody on screen. But the smoke on the left reveals where Jake is located. Noah approaches and sees our absent protagonist.
Oh, there you are.
He enters the frame into a confrontational, shadowy over-the-shoulder shot. As Noah reveals his incriminating bifocals, the camera pushes in. Then Jake steps into a two-shot that shows them both in profile. We soon pan to follow Noah to the garden. Jake steps into a new over-the-shoulder angle. We follow him into a new side-by-side two-shot. Finally, Noah turns to a new off-screen character.
Claude, take those glasses from me, will you?
Introduced by his arm. The camera keeps pulling back to include him. We end in this angle, with Jake raising his arm to show and deliver his only evidence. What a shot!
See, Mr. Gitz, most people never have to face the fact that at the right time and the right place, they're capable of anything.
Now, the next time you watch Chinatown, keep an eye out for the director's deft, swift, unseen hand.
I will.
It's brilliancy that's hiding in plain sight, making the visuals, the physical storytelling, as organized, fastidious, and flawless as the screenplay.
That's exactly what I wanted to hear you say.
Thank you for watching.
Don't make me get rough.
They're from my sister.
Lies.
They're from my mother. They're from my sister and my mother.